This video is basically a highlight reel of what I've been cooking lately, kind of the meals I've been having on repeat. Yeah, I've got 6 meals to share with you today. I hope there's something in there that you will want to recreate. Let's get into it. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up, and thank you to Squarespace for the support. Up first, we have this delicious wasabi cream cheese sandwich. It is so good and super easy to make. First, mix together the ingredients for the wasabi cream cheese. Plain plant-based cream cheese that's at room temperature, some type of mild vinegar, some wasabi, salt, and pepper. That's it. Just mix this well and set aside. Next, I'm cutting some pre-fried tofu from the Asian supermarket into slices. Lately, I've been loving pan-frying this sort of tofu. It just gives it the nicest texture. In the meantime, I'm cutting up some avocado and some cucumber. Although if you're making this sandwich far in advance, like overnight, I would recommend to skip the cucumber actually. What really makes this sandwich, in my opinion, is being very intentional with every single layer. So first, the cream cheese. I put that on both sides, then a layer of the fried tofu, the avocado. I'm also adding some wasabi flavored nori, and then the cucumber. Again, if I were to be making this the night before, I would skip the cucumber because that just makes it really soggy after a couple hours. Now tightly wrap the sandwich in some cling foil and put it into the fridge for half an hour. To me, this tastes like a really well-made school lunch, and the wasabi cream cheese is so good. I also at some point have to try the classic strawberry cream version. It just looks so beautiful. For this next recipe idea, I've got these insanely cozy, upgraded instant noodles. They're topped with this tofu quote-unquote chicken that I've seen all over TikTok recently. First, I'm shredding 2 blocks of firm tofu using a cheese grater. And then I mix that with cornstarch, soy sauce, and vegetable oil. And then transfer this mixture to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. It's important here to make sure to really press down onto the tofu, and then that goes into the preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 25 minutes or until golden brown. This sort of tofu is the perfect meal prep idea. You could do it like me and have some for dinner and then keep the rest for the next morning because this doesn't just do well in instant noodles. But anyway, I'm just letting everything cook for about 2 to 3 minutes or until both the noodles and the spinach are cooked. I'm topping everything with some of the tofu, and then I'm also adding spring onion and sesame seeds. I had a friend staying with me for a week. She got me this melatonin tea she likes to drink, and as a self-proclaimed insomniac, I take all the help I can get. For this next recipe, I'm going to be reusing the meal prepped sheet of tofu. This is a lovely, cheesy marinara tofu baguette. Basically, I've got an oven preheating to 190 degrees Celsius. And then I'm cutting some baguette pieces in half. And then I'm placing those halves on the baking sheet and brushing them with a layer of olive oil. Next, I'm allowing this to bake on one of the higher racks for about 5 minutes. You don't want it to get too dark, just a nice golden brown color. Next, you're going to spoon some of your favorite store-bought tomato sauce on top, followed by some vegan pizza cheese. And then you're going to give this another 5 minutes. Just pretend the cheese is fully melted. If you know of any vegan cheeses in Germany that melt really well, please let me know. This was really nice. You could also serve this with some extra warmed marinara sauce on the side to like dip your bread in, but even without, this was really yummy. This next recipe is a variation on one of my go-to favorite quick meals. So these are crispy rice bites topped with spicy vegan tuna. Very much inspired by this specific video right here.
So unfortunately, I don't have the type of brain that's like, oh wow, this food is good, let's have it again sometime soon. No, I learned how to make something, I'm like, my brain says, have it 86 times in a row. I said, no, please, it's gonna make me have it 86 times in a row. That's my brain says, no, I don't really want it that much, have it 86 times in a row.
Now for the fake tuna mixture, I'm blending up a can of chickpeas, some vegan mayonnaise, soy sauce, a little bit of oat milk, gochujang, white wine vinegar, agave syrup, nutritional yeast, a sheet of nori, roughly torn to bits, a little bit of a green onion, but the white part of the green onion, and some salt. You can blend it until fully smooth, or just pulse it to give it some texture, whatever you prefer. I'm cutting up some broccoli here to have that on the side. I'm just steaming / boiling it. And then I'm frying some cooked rice using a little bit of vegetable oil and a non-stick pan. Make sure to press everything down with a spatula. For my first batch, I had the temperature a bit too high, but the second one turned out pretty good. I actually can't believe that worked. And now onto assembling. Simply just add some of the chickpea mixture on top, and then feel free to finish this off with additional toppings such as sesame seeds, spring onion, maybe some kimchi, some cucumber, some shredded carrot. Highly recommend you give this a try. I've also been loving savory breakfast burritos lately. These ones come with a super simple sriracha black bean potato filling. First, I'm chopping up a small red onion and a medium-sized yellow potato. Then I'm bringing my skillet with some oil to medium heat and letting the onion fry in there for about 5 minutes. At some point, I'm also adding a bit of vegan butter. This is optional, but it's gonna make it taste a bit better. And then I'm adding the potato, some vegetable broth powder, and some water. I'm bringing everything up to a quick boil and then letting everything simmer over medium for about 7 to 10 minutes or until the potatoes are pretty much done. Next, I'm adding a can of rinsed black beans, lots of sriracha, some soy sauce, nutritional yeast, bit of agave, and vinegar. And then I'm mixing that up. I'm also adding some frozen parsley, and then I'm giving everything another 2 to 3, and that's it. Taste test, see if you need more salt. This on rice would be really good. So I'm adding a few tablespoons of the bean potato mix to the center of a tortilla, followed by some vegan cheese, some tomato slices, sesame, baby spinach, and some additional sriracha. Then I'm rolling this up. Very important to also make sure to toast these. And then serve. I'd made some cold brew for a change. You could definitely turn this idea into a meal prep recipe and make a bunch of these wraps all at once and then freeze them and reheat whenever you like. Last but not least, I made this cozy miso lentil stew recently. A one-pot recipe that's super wholesome and very, very easy to make. First, I peeled and chopped 3 potatoes, one of which being a sweet potato. I also cut up a handful of small carrots, some green onion, and some garlic. Although actually the garlic I didn't even bother chopping, I just peeled it. And I gave the onion and garlic a head start of maybe 2 to 3 minutes. And then added in all the root vegetables, gave that a quick mix. Then I added the green lentils, some store-bought marinara sauce, and water. I brought everything up to a quick boil and then let this simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes or until the lentils were tender. At this point, this doesn't taste like anything, and so I'm seasoning this here with miso paste, vegetable broth powder, nutritional yeast, white wine vinegar, agave syrup, black pepper, soy sauce. I also threw in some baby spinach, some spring onion, and also a little bit of salt. I refrained from adding any salt in the beginning because apparently that prevents the lentils from cooking fast. Me and my friend Natalie, who was staying with me, we ate our stew while watching Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. I remember I tried watching it once when I was 12 on some suspicious website, but I turned it off after like 10 minutes because I didn't get it back then, you know? I also don't think I understood the accent, so this was me basically watching it for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. Very wholesome. Well, very cute. Wholesome is not the right word, but very fun watch. Excusez-moi. Thank you so much for watching. I guess this is more of a businessy update, but to any brands watching, I have a new business inquiries email. This one, check it out. I'm always really dependent on the sun when I'm filming, unfortunately. Kind of the worst weather for me is when it's blue sky with really huge, thick clouds and a lot of wind, because then it almost feels like someone's turning a light switch on and off. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. And last but not least, a word from my lovely, lovely sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace makes it really easy to create a beautiful website, connect to your audience, share your art, sell your products, sell your content, and more. Start by choosing from their wide range of professionally designed website templates to get started, or build your site from scratch if you prefer. Also, create a new logo while you're at it. Have your website quickly get discovered with their optimized SEO tools, meaning you will show up more often in people's search engines, and therefore grow your brand and business the way you want. If you need extra help, don't hesitate to ask their 24/7 award-winning customer service. Start today. Go to squarespace.com/MeNowRome and use the code MeNowRome to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.